again, welcome back to the second part of this first episode of 2021. And in my previous video, the part one of this episode, I was talking about how it feels to be self-employed from now on, and what it has taken for me to get to the point that I was able to make the decision to be self-employed. But in the second part, I will quickly show you what I have on my needles at the moment. I had a photo shoot yesterday with Anna Vallendar, who has been taking photos for me lately. She took the photos, for example, the Sawyer pullover and the Helmi pullover. So I was super excited to get to work with her yesterday again. And I had this huge bag of clothes and everything I wanted to take photos of. There was the Edgar pullover, there's the Sade pullover, Adalita vest, and my newest design, the Kuutar pullover, and also the Odette pullover. So I had like this big blue IKEA bag full of clothes and knitwear, and I left it at my new office, and I thought that I would go and get it this weekend. But then I decided to film this new episode today, and I realized that all my finished knits are at the office and I don't have anything here. But if you have been following me on Instagram, you have seen the Kuutar pullover that I made during the Christmas break. I was so tired after Christmas, after quitting my job at Novita and trying to quickly do all my pending design work for Novita before Christmas. And then, of course, after Christmas, like between Christmas and New Year's, I got sick. I had a horrible cough. I went to the coronavirus tests. They came out negative, so it probably wasn't corona. But I had this like horrible cough. I still have some cough left. It doesn't seem to want to go away, even though I've been coughing now for 3 weeks already. But it took out all my energy, and I was just lying here on this sofa for a week and doing nothing else except knitting the Kuutar pullover. So I finished the whole pullover in just a bit over 1 week. I'm super sad that I don't have it here with me, but we took some really gorgeous photos of the pullover yesterday. I can't wait to get to show them to you. They're like so amazing. Anna is such a talented photographer, and she really gets the mood and idea that I want in the photos. I think we have a similar style, like similar aesthetics, so it's so easy to work with her. But I had some leftover yarn from the Kuutar pullover, and because I love the lace pattern so much that I cast it on a Kuutar beret, and I can show that to you. So it's here. It's still on my needles, so I haven't finished it yet. It's almost finished. Just the last few repeats of the lace left, and then there's the ripping, and it looks like this. There's still a bit of a hole here at the top. That's because it started from the top. So I have this the cast on yarn here, and the gap closes when I pull this yarn. so there's no more hole. I just haven't stitched this end yet, so that's why the hole keeps reappearing all the time. And I will add a little stem here with I-cord at the end, or maybe a pom-pom. I have to see and try which one I want to do, but this is the same lace pattern that I used for the Kuutar pullover. So if you imagine this lace as a circular yoke, and then some of it also here at the sleeves, then you get the idea how the Kuutar pullover looks like, but so nice. And for this one I've been using yarn I got from a Finnish yarn shop called Nurja. So the pullover and the beret are both worked as a collaboration with Lankakauppa Nurja from Tampere in Finland, and they have their own yarn. So this is their mohair, and it doesn't have a name of the colorway. I think this was specially dyed for this collaboration, but I have to make sure I find out the name of the yarn. And also this is Vuonue, this way, Vuonue Wilhelmi, and this is 30% tencel and 70% Finnish wool, and the colorway is called Hiekka, so it's a beautiful brown natural shade. So I'm using these two together, and I really love the combination. It's like this really natural, beautiful shade, and it looks amazing. So this is what I've been knitting at the moment. I've also been working on a pair of socks that I can't show you. They are part of a collaboration. And in addition to that, I've also made a collar that I can't show to you either, because that was also a part of a collaboration, but I hope I can show that to you quite soon. So I think that's what I've been making between Christmas and now. Also, I finished the second Odette pullover. So you might remember me knitting this black pullover last summer, and we tried to take photos of it with Anna in the autumn, but because it was black you couldn't really see anything about the pullover. So you just saw that, okay, that's a black pullover, but you couldn't see anything like what kind of sleeve it has. Is it a raglan pullover? Is it a set-in sleeve? How it looks like? All the details were like gone. So I said to Anna that, okay, I will knit the pullover in another colorway, a lighter colorway, and next time we take photos, then I will have another lighter pullover and something that you can see details of. So I finished the second Odette pullover that is also at the office, so I can't show it to you in the next episode. I promise I will show it to you. But it's light grey and really beautiful. So I know both of the Odette pullovers will I will use them. I've already used the black Odette so much, and I think the light grey pullover will also get a lot of use from me. So that's what I've been knitting mostly during the past few weeks. And I also have here next to me the Prosecco pullover, and I have finished the whole body, and I have stitch markers here. These are playing the role of buttons at the moment, so I haven't had time to go to buy any buttons, but I want like 4 golden buttons here on the shoulder, so it looks like this. And I also started to knit the sleeve. So this is the first sleeve, and I made it into the first 10 or 15 centimeters of the sleeve. It's quite fairly, sorry, like I said, I've had a flu and a cough, so I'm now losing my voice. But for the Prosecco pullover, I've been using West Yorkshire Spinners Illustrious Naturals, and this is a DK weight yarn. It has 70% Falkland wool and 30% British alpaca, and this is the colorway Old Lace, and it's called a Prosecco pullover because, well, bubbles. Oh, what else would it be called but Prosecco? Just go quickly and drink something, and then I'll be back because I'm, you know, like you can hear, I'm losing my voice. Okay, I'm back. But that's everything I have on my needles that I can show you. I do have the salvia pullover that I showed to you in my previous video, as well as the pun cardigan. But to be honest, I haven't touched either of them since the last time I filmed a video. So I think it's I think there's like no point for me to show them to you because nothing has happened with them. I think we'll talk about some hats to you next. I love knitting basic ribbing, like 1x1 ribbing or 2x2 ribbing. I think it's like really meditative for me. If I have something that I need to concentrate on something else, but I just want something to do with my hands. For example, if I have a meeting that I'm allowed to knit in, or if I'm talking to somebody, or during car trips or something like that, when I can't really concentrate on what I knit, then I love having just like simple ribbing on my needles. I prefer knitting ribbing to just stockinette stitch. I think plain stockinette stitch is quite boring, but there's something flowing, meditative about ribbing to me that I love knitting ribbing. I know there are a lot of people who hate knitting ribbing, and especially if they're like long parts of ribbing. So I already have 2 iris hats. Now if you remember these, these are started at the top of the hat the same way as the beret that I showed to you, and then it's worked downwards, and it has like this triple folded brim, and both of these hats have been my favorite thing to wear for the past few years. The original iris hat here, this is just filled 2 years, and this one I knitted last winter. The original iris hat has 1 strand of fingering weight merino yarn and 1 strand of lace weight mohair, and the second one that I have has 2 strands of fingering weight merino yarn, and I went slightly down with the needle size to get the same gauge, because the second strand of merino is thicker than the lace weight mohair that I have for the first one. So this is denser fabric than this one. So especially this one I have been using a lot. I think I will update the iris hat pattern to also have this second version of this hat. And now I'm planning to make a 3rd iris, and I already picked yarn for it. Going to make a 3rd yarn version of it. So now instead of 2 strands of yarn, I'm going to use a single strand of this light worsted weight yarn from Knitting for Olive. So this is the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino. It's 100% Merino wool, and this is the colorway Oatmeal. It's the same color that I used for my Poetria pullover. So it's a beautiful grayish brown, very natural color yarn. So this is going to be my third iris hat. Because I love ripping, and because all ripped hats are so fashionable at the moment, everybody is wearing and knitting ripped hats, but I kind of think there are already enough ripped hat patterns, so I kind of don't want to make yet another ripped hat pattern. So I was thinking about updating either my 2x2 hat pattern or this 2x1 hat pattern. So these are both something that I made already 2.5 years ago. This was my first top-down hat pattern that I published, and this one I published about 2 years ago. So this one has this more not pointy top, not round top, but like this kind of like flat top, and this one has rounder top. So I was thinking about making these two hats with a thicker yarn. So making the same hat, but adding a worsted weight version. So I have the same yarn as what I'm planning to use for iris. Also Knitting for Olives Heavy Merino, and this is the colorway Copper. So I'm using this for I haven't decided which hat I will knit first, or if I will knit both of them with a thicker weight yarn, but I think I will probably start with the 2x1 hat, this one. And lastly, I have 2 skeins of new yarn that I wanted to show you. I've been buying a lot of yarn during the autumn. My stash is totally overflowing. There's way too much stuff in my stash. There are like literally skeins of yarn dropping on the floor every time I open our wardrobe door. So I really have to organize it and start knitting more, not buy more yarn, but knit from my stash. I almost came to the point during last year that I didn't have any like sweater worth of some yarn, or if I had for like maybe two pullovers, and suddenly I have I have so much yarn. I can't even tell you how much yarn I have. I'm kind of like almost embarrassed to tell you how much yarn I have at the moment. And the difference at the moment is that as I used to have only like fingering weight, and the skeins are so skinny, and you don't need quite many skeins to knit a pullover. So if you had a sweater worth of fingering weight yarn, it looked like something like this much. And suddenly I've been really into thicker yarns, so DK, worsted weight, or even Aran weight, and the skeins look like this. And then you have like 8 of these, and it takes this much room instead of having 6, 5, maybe 5 fingering weight yarns that fit into your 2 hands. Now you need like a whole armful of yarn for one sweater. I was thinking that probably I should organize the stash, and I was thinking maybe I will film you an episode while I do it and show you everything I have in my stash. Let me know if you would be interested in seeing that. But there are, when I saw the Harrisville new Daylights yarn, I just couldn't not buy it. I still have the Harrisville Nightshades, the green yarn that I bought from Edinburgh Yarn Festival 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. I haven't had time to knit it yet, and now I bought 2 different colors of this. Both are like a sweater weight of yarn. So I had this is the Caffeine base. It is a natural shade yarn with tiny specks of brown, and also this is the Bloodshot colorway, and it has like tiny specks of red. You can see probably maybe the difference between the yarn. They have like a really subtle shades, but I think they're absolutely beautiful, and they're like shouting to me that I should knit them into the cabled pullovers. So I can't wait to put them on my needles. I have ideas for quite a lot of new designs, and just have to finish everything I have on my needles so I can get cracking on new designs. But I don't have anything else here on the sofa with me. That was everything that I was going to show you today. So thank you for watching my videos, and happy new year. So excited for this new chapter in my life. I can't wait to see where this year takes me. So I'm really looking forward to next new year, so I can wrap up everything that I have done this year. This is going to be a really awesome year, despite everything that is happening in the world. But for me, career wise, I'm really excited. See you soon. Bye.